Hello, everyone who's joining us today or this evening, depends on where you are at the world. I'm waiting for people to join and also for FRAMIORE to join us. Hello, everyone. So good to see you, everyone. Hi, how are you? We are gonna talk about slow fashion this evening, and there we have them. I am inviting Lisa from to join us, and we're going to talk all about slow fashion this evening. I hope you're doing well.
Yay!
Hello, Lisa!
Hi, Noah. Hi, everyone.
How
How
are
everyone
you
doing today?
How are you doing?
Well, I'm great. My friend just brought some fresh flowers, so it's just the room full of nice smell.
That's perfect. Yeah, how was your day so far?
Well, pretty intense, actually. So this live, as some of you may know, is the part of TimeOut series, which our brand just started. And it's the first our live stream, so I'm nervous / excited, and I'm really welcome you to the live.
I'm so excited to be your first guest at this series. Do you want to tell everyone what is it actually about?
Yeah, let's start from this. So we are a sustainable brand from Ukraine, and 2 years ago we were a fashion startup. So during these 2 years, we tried all the ways to find our customer, find our idea, find the ways to be heard, to find our own DNA. And during these steps, we met a lot of different and really experienced people who helped us be where we are now. So we thought that it would be nice to give this experience to people who maybe are at the same stage as we were 2 years ago. Maybe this could help someone. And also to start the conversation about slow fashion, sustainability, and how to live a bit more conscious life, I guess.
And also to help startups and designers to be more sustainable, slow, and conscious. So yeah, that's a really nice way to put things out there. We have so many amazing people here. I'm so excited to have everyone here. Thank you for everyone who came. So let's start actually from our story and how we met, because that's a fun story. So
it's
Lisa,
not a
you were not
coincidence
there.
that we're starting from Noah today. So it's not a coincidence. We were not picking the best influencer on Instagram.
No.
No.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we met at No Need, which is the global hub for sustainable fashion. And I met Ira, who is watching us right now at No Need, one of the FRAMIORE team. She's such an amazing woman. And I remember walking to the FRAMIORE booth and thinking to myself, oh, that's an interesting brand, and I really like their cuts and their small collection. It was such a small and beautiful booth. And I was looking at it and I was like thinking to myself, oh, that's something I want to learn more about. And then Ira told me that you have a very special brand concept.
Yeah, that's the second part of FRAMIORE. But I would say it's the first thing that you should know, because being sustainable, it's more of a must-have right now. I don't see it as a difference point for the brand, but our concept is really what let us stand out from other things on the market. So each collection, and we have only 2 of them per year, one for warm season and one for the cold season. Each collection is dedicated to cultural heritage of people across the world. So what we want is to research these traditions and then translate them into modern art items for women.
That's incredible. And we will dive into this story later on. But the first thing, and the reason we are here this evening, is to talk about slow fashion. So, to begin with, I want to ask everyone who is here, what does slow fashion mean to you? You can leave it in the comments below, and we will get back to it very, very soon. But what would you say slow fashion is from like a broad view, or from a brand perspective, a customer perspective? Let's talk about it.
Okay, let's do that. So slow fashion to me, it's not about the speed. It's more about of a lifestyle. So it's taking everything not for granted, but seeing more value and in everything that you do, and especially in all that you buy. So it's more about being happy with what you already have. And if you want to have something more, you should think about it wisely before buying anything.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I feel like a slow fashion, rather than being just a concept of fashion, it's a broad, from a broad point of view, it's a way of living. It's a lifestyle that is looking like diving deep into what how we live our lives, how we consume, how we experience life per se. I feel like this is such a broad view of slow fashion, but slow fashion specifically, like to fashion, I feel like let's start from the brand perspective. It's about how you produce your clothes, but also how you view your clothes, and how you just how you think about your brand when you're designing something from start to finish. So I would say slow fashion starts with a bigger question of, how do I view my brand, and what do I want to get with my products? So high quality, long lasting materials is the first thing that I'm thinking about when it comes to slow fashion, because our point is to consume less but buy better. So usually slow fashion brands have only 2, max 3 collections a year. Is it what you do with FRAMIORE too?
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah. So it's spring, summer, and fall, winter, and the collections consist of a very small amount of garments per collection. They're made to be worn for years and years. They are produced in smaller batches in ethical factories, and I feel like in general, just slow fashion is always trying, like a slow fashion brand is always, and a lifestyle is always trying to improve its ways. So always thinking forward, and not just, for example, a brand is producing things in small batches from organic cotton or tencel or recycled materials. That's great, but what do I do to make it better? So I feel like that's from a brand perspective, and from our perspective as customers is buying less and caring for what we already have more than everything else. I feel like when we invest in something, for example, I'm wearing FRAMIORE, by the way. When we invest in something, we value it more, and we take good care when we take good care of it, and all these things. Each piece I've seen is such care to detail. Yeah, that's about FRAMIORE.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
I adore the quality of FRAMIORE. And we have another comment about slow fashion memes: design that cares for animals, people, and environment. I absolutely agree with you, Dana, as well. Yeah, so let's talk about what you do that makes you a slow fashion brand? First of all, why did you even begin with? Why did you even care about slow fashion? Why did you want to be a slow fashion brand?
Okay, so the whole thing for us started in 2018, 2 years ago, when our founder had a long trip to Asia, in which she took with her, I think, 3, 4, maybe 5 garments. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And after she got back to Ukraine, she understood that at home she has a lot of clothes in her wardrobe that she doesn't need and she doesn't want to have. So the idea of being slow and producing not less that people want to have begins there. So actually you don't need to have a lot of stuff. You need to have a few items that are really comfortable, suits your lifestyle, and fits you maybe, and the items that you really love. So that's it. I want to start a bit about slow fashion from the brand perspective. And before this stream, I asked our designer, Dorina, about slow fashion and what she sees in it. And let me quote her about it. So,
Okay.
yeah, I prepared something. So it all starts from the idea of creating something comfortable, not something good looking, but something that could fit your lifestyle, something you could wear and ride a bicycle if you're riding a bicycle, or something you could be comfortable with going first at work, visit the office, have several business meetings, and then maybe at evening go to a bar and have some cocktails with your friends.
Yeah.
Or something versatility, which you can combine and wear in a different style each day, so you don't need to have 10 clothes in your summer look. You need to have 3 and only twist them a bit.
Yeah, I feel like versatility is a huge part of slow fashion too.
Yeah. So you don't need a lot of stuff. The second thing is about the fabric. Which fabric should we pick to make this item work?
How do you actually, as a brand, how do you actually go to choose a fabric from this slow fashion like thoughts of, oh, I need to produce something and I want it to last for as long as possible, possibly for a lifetime?
Okay, it's a long process, I would tell you. It's really a long process. Between you make the prototype, let's say prototype, to a finished garment, it could take months, because there are a lot of questions to solve. Who's going to be your supplier? Is the supplier really sustainable? Does it have certifications that you need? Is the fabric that he produces can be as long lasting as he told you? So it's all about testing, and trying different people and different fabrics before it even goes where. Yep.
Yeah, also I feel like that's important, and that's something not many people highlight, is just going down the supply chain and really digging in to ask questions, like from a brand perspective, I assume, like when you're going to, even for to source your materials, you are asking so many questions to assure that people are treated well, I assume, and how they produce the products, what are the emissions, how to use water, chemicals, safety of the workers, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are the actual materials that you're using in your collection, and what makes them high quality and made to last? And also, another question following that to that question, how do you ensure that your products, style-wise and also material-wise, are just passing the test of time? Not only the wear time, but also the style, because that's also another thing about slow fashion. Your brand specifically is designed to last a lifetime and live beyond trends.
Well, the answer to that is testing, and taking some time for doing this test properly. When we have a prototype, there are a lot of fittings and adjustings and upgradings the item before we make sure that it's really comfortable, meaning that some of our team should wear the prototype and then just go with heads up and down, trying to sit down, maybe jump on or make a turn or something, and then we see if the seams and the cuts works for this movement. So it's a fun part. It's a fun part. And we test how our garment fits different figures to be sure that not only a model size girl could wear this stuff. And the thing about fabric is we dry them a lot. We wash them a lot. We tear them just to see how the garment will look like after 10th wash or 20th wash. Will it lose the color? Will it lose the fit? Or it will stay there? If something goes wrong, we still have time to pick another fabric or do some adjustments just to make sure that when you buy something from us, it's a quality piece that you would like.
And also, another thing that you're doing is, and it's quite cool, is that you don't have a stock.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We take slow fashion for serious.
You take slow fashion the slow road.
The
but
slowest
what does
way
it mean?
possible,
How does it work? Explain it to everyone.
Okay, so FRAMIORE doesn't have stock because we don't want to produce more than people actually need. So there is a thing with marketing that a lot of ads and a lot of Instagram channels with these pretty girls and nice looks and everything would make you think that you need this item, and you go and buy, and then you just understand that it simply doesn't fit your mood or your other pieces from your wardrobe, so you actually don't need it. And we thought that if we would make all items on order only, it would help people to take this purchase seriously, like to have it, to give it more value.
To think about it before they buy.
Yeah. And we actually, when we receive the order, we ask the customer to wait maybe 14 days, like 2 weeks of time, but it's a max, while we will actually sew the item for the customer. So it's only handmade and all made in-house in our atelier in Ukraine.
And you actually took some pictures in Who Made a Fashion Revolution Week. I saved there too. So you are very...
Here it is.
Yes. So tell us about your factory and how you actually produce the clothes and who made the clothes.
So you see on these pictures is probably we have up to 10-15 people on our team, and that's how our atelier looks like. It's a small, but it's pretty creative space for doing what we do.
And how does it work? Like, you are based in Ukraine and everything is made in-house, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have outsource because we don't want to leave extra carbon footprint and all this logistic stuff with transporting fabric there and items there would just make things complicated. And it's also easier for us to control the quality and that make sure that all people who are involved in the process are treated fairly, so that everyone have the job which they like and they are not
Yeah.
forced to work 14 hours a day. Yeah, it's what they like and what their talent is to create perfect clothes.
Yeah, I feel like it also makes your purchase more, when it's made to order, it makes it more personal when you actually like know it was made for you, for your size, by someone that you know who it is. So I also heard that you're going to like slowly start like sending a small letter of from someone who's made your clothes, like a small little note from the person who actually like stitched your garment. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's such a sweet and beautiful way of showing transparency, and I really appreciate that. But apart from that, you like, if we are talking about slow fashion, um, we're talking also about sustainability, and sustainability also doesn't just end with, okay, that's the product, we will ship it. It's also the way you ship it. That's why you have a special way of sending the products, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
We want to omit plastic bags because there's too much waste on that during the delivery, but not having it means that we can be sure that the item won't be broken or filled with some liquid while delivering into the other country. So now we think to switch from plastic to foreign packaging. It looks like plastic, but it's not, and it's disposal. So you can recycle it after it. And first of all,
Is it biodegradable?
Yeah,
okay.
It is. And also we put each FRAMIORE item into a card box, and it's the cardboard box, which you can later use for other purposes. We also do not put our logo on it. So there is a logo, but it's small. So if you're reusing it afterwards, it doesn't irritate you and doesn't have a reminder for
it just
each
looks
day,
like a
like you
box.
bought an item from FRAMIORE.
So it just looks like a box that you would, yeah.
It's just a box. We also put some nice stuff in the boxes. Like we have this small handmade hearts made from fabric waste.
Oh, okay.
Which we put in a box. And if we have them in our atelier, we will put some dried flowers also.
That's lovely. Actually, I wanted to talk with you about what you do and what would you like inspire others to do with waste from production, like waste materials and other things like that.
Well, we try to reduce waste as much as possible. That's why there is another side of the process when you're figuring out how to cut pieces for the blouse, let's say blouse, the way to have less fabric waste. And it took us some time to figure it out, but now we're pretty happy about it. Saying before this adjustment, we could sew a teddy bear out of the fabric waste, and now it's only a heart.
That's great. We have a question from Dana.
Let's hear it.
Yes. When working with made to order, how does your factory accept smaller quantities? Do you negotiate with them, as it's really hard to find factories that don't work with minimums? Very curious to know. So that's, you have your own atelier, right?
Yeah, it's not a factory, it's more of an atelier. And to be true, we're gladly work with smaller quantities. We are not able right now to SKU a lot of stuff. Let's say number, well, 50 to 70 pieces made a month. It's already enough to FRAMIORE to not, I'm not saying gain some money, but have enough to pay
Sustain
salaries,
yourself.
buy new fabric for new items, etc. So 70 items per month. It's not much, but now I think I can say it right now, because today we got the like a green light from our partners that we're starting to develop a bigger production with lean technology and our own R&D center for testing the clothes even more precisely than we do now. And it would help us to increase the numbers of pieces that we would produce and save the same quality and even improve it later.
While still being slow, which is amazing.
While still being slow, yeah.
Congratulations. And now I want to talk a little bit about transparency as a part of slow fashion, and how, well, you know that transparency has been brought up a lot lately.
Yeah, it's a popular
in the past 2 weeks. Also on my page as well. And we wanted to differentiate, like to define what transparency means. What are the differences between being a transparent brand to being a sustainable or an ethical brand, and how can you combine the three? So transparency, what does it mean to you? Everyone who is here, what does transparency mean to you? Please let us know in the comments. We want to hear any associations that come up with the word transparent or transparent brand. And what does it mean to you, Lisa?
Okay, for us, it's being open to our customer about all the processes that happening in FRAMIORE. If you want to know about our supply chain, or you want to know who made your clothes, or how to care about this clothes, or about everything that you could be just curious about, you can go ahead and answer if you didn't find the answer to your question previously on our website or Facebook or Instagram, etc. For me, as a customer, because I'm not only representing FRAMIORE, I'm also buying clothes like everyone else. It is the openness of the information, and when the brand is ready to answer your questions clearly without blurring any lines.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
why I begin to trust to the brand and maybe become more interested in their clothes and the possibility of buying from them later.
Yes. So transparency, in its definition, the way I see it, is providing information. Good or bad, providing information. And the thing that was brought up by the opposite of a slow fashion brand, fast fashion brand, H&M, 2 weeks ago, was this huge chaos of them presenting themselves as the most transparent brand in the whole world. And they broke the internet. I don't know if you missed it or not, but this was a very big thing, and it made our whole community understand the importance of first of all, educating people about what transparency is and what it is not. And second of all, the actual importance of stepping forward from transparency to actual actions. Because what happened with H&M, for example, that's a fast fashion brand, and let's define fast fashion brand. It's everything that slow fashion isn't. They have 52 collections a year. They don't know who made their clothes. They don't know who's down their supply chain. They use the cheapest materials to create the cheapest clothes under the most horrible conditions. And basically they represent everything we don't want. I personally don't want to support, and I assume you too. We have some comments.
Some comments.
Yes, sharing as much as possible with our customers, answer questions and dive deeper. Absolutely correct, Dana. And Dana, by the way, is an amazing designer too. FRAMIORE quality is expectational. I love every single piece I bought. This is amazing. Thank you, Anka. I'm wearing a FRAMIORE top from their summer collection right now, and also pants. I don't know if you can see them, but you are very transparent about everything you do. And apart from, we talked about this, the atelier in Ukraine, but I wanted to ask you more about your brand concept and transparency about this concept, because that's pretty unique, and that's the first thing that made me like think more about FRAMIORE after I saw it, and it's the actual brand concept. And your inspiration.
I love this topic, so let's dive into it. As I previously said, each collection is dedicated to some unique cultural traditions of people, which culture is almost disappearing, or it is in danger of extinction. And experiencing it, researching it, and then telling it about it to the customers. It's the way to somehow save and translate and give this tradition, pass this tradition to others, because there are a lot of knowledge in the world, and we think that we're a bit underestimating the cultural part of the clothes. So the summer collection is dedicated to Hmong people, which live in remote regions of Vietnam. So it's remote, like mountain regions. It's not hard to reach, but the area where they're located helped them to save their culture during the years, and helped it to stay as it was for hundreds of years. But now, because of a lot of cheap products from China, which is located near to Vietnam, it starts to change. And we feel that it's understandable, but not right. And we really wanted to make a story out of it and translate it somehow. Before the live, I sent you some pictures. We can show it to the viewers and maybe explain some more.
Yes. So let's start with this picture.
Okay, so it's a black Hmong woman, and she wears the traditional clothes. This is how they look most of the times. And maybe you can see the mix of the white shirt from some fast fashion brand, let's say, and the traditional coat on her. And this is the way how it is right now. The things are mixing. But the thing about Black Hmongs is that unlike the other Hmong people in Vietnam, they wear truly minimalistic clothes made out of eco fabric. They made the fabric by themselves. They color it by themselves. So the black, the blue, and white are the main colors of their clothes. And when our designer went to the area to research their traditions, she was really out about how modern their traditional clothes looks like. And so we tried to not to copy their traditions to our clothes, but to put some, let's say, a reference to each of our item and leave it there and to tell a story about it. So if you visit our site and look through the catalog, you will see not only the description of the pants or of the blouses, but also a story behind it. Well, these pants that you are showing right now,
I'm wearing them right now.
and the one that you are wearing right now are actually inspired by the typical pants of Black Hmong women. They're a bit shorter, and they have this playful cut on the leg, which remind us of a sunlight in a bamboo forest or something. And it is seen only when you move. So it's not of the body exposure, you know, or a transparent fabric. You can show something of your skin on the leg if you move, if you'd like to. And it's a cool thing to do.
And another, like, two more questions about it is, like, how do you take a whole culture, like, experience, or like you take cultures in danger of extinction, right? Like they're like, they might disappear within the next 10-20 years. How do you take their traditional clothes and make them as we want to make, like create clothes that will fit the women every day, like a modern woman around the world, and also, like, how do you like take those influences of them, but living your collection rather minimal and sophisticated and timeless?
So with the Hmongs, it was quite easy because their clothes from the start was minimalistic. It wasn't too bright or too overloaded with the details. They paid actually more attention to sewing techniques and to cottons of the endings of the fabric, which prolong the time that the garment serves you. And we aim not to copy anything, but to leave a reference or a small glimpse of a cultural heritage into each item.
And how, jumping back to materials, because it's also connecting to this, how did you choose the materials for your collection? Like, what are the materials and how did you choose them?
We mostly use tencel, and we have only few items that have a mix of a fabric in it. So mostly we use tencel because right now it's a great option for long-lasting item and the one that fits you good and feels good on the skin. Also, tencels are the best fabrics for the summer season when it's warm outside and your skin needs extra air and cool feeling on your body.
Especially in Tel Aviv and Vietnam too.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
And did you involve the people from that region in Vietnam in your idea?
Do you mean, do we have consultants from the...
No. Not did you?
No. We did a research when Darina was at Vietnam And then we just had a lot of Googling and asking questions and seeing are we going in the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and going going more towards the future, how do you find these in danger like cultures? How do you even go and explore them? Because they're so small usually.
Yeah, usually so small, and to find one is a way. It just happens. Like it's we don't Google. Let's see what other traditions are now in danger of extinction. Let's go there and check them out. It's not happens like that.
Yeah,
But
probably
when you
not.
see that the news maybe, or another message of that something happened here and over there, or when you're traveling and you get to know these people by coincidence, you don't have any other choice like to dedicate the collection to them or do something good.
And another thing is that each of your items is named after a person.
Yeah, it's also a reference that the one sleeve that you were wearing, it's named Alang. So it's the
Alan.
actual name of the Vietnamese Hmong woman.
Oh my god. Okay. I didn't know it's these women from that region. I thought it was named after, I don't know, women.
No, 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 no. No, each item has the actual name. So it's the like a small detail that is special about it.
A gesture. Yes, I like it. It makes it even more special now. And
But
another
you
thing
know
that
what? I'm wondering, talking about the slow fashion and etc. etc. Are people ready to wait a bit more or to pay a bit more than they used to if they're buying from a slow fashion brand? Like, are we there yet or are we not?
I feel like everything in life, that's a process, and this process takes lots of education. As for now, our world as we see it, as we live it, as we experience it now, we are like booted to buy, consume, consume, consume. Our business models that are surrounding us are encouraging us to buy more and more for less and less. They ensure that each of the things that we're wearing is trendy for 1 week, and then a week after we feel like we need to buy something else because we're out of trend. I feel like this whole thing is something that we participated in sometime in the past until we found some education about it and we found curiosity. And without curiosity and education, I think things wouldn't even be able to change. This is where we come in as a community and try to educate people to realize that first of all, they need to care for what they have, and they don't need much more than that. And when they want to buy something, they would rather invest in something that will last them a longer time than just go and buy and purchase every single season. Because if you sum up the expenses over time, they might be spending more about more things, which is just nonsense to me. So yeah, just educating people to appreciating rather than throwing away, because we are living in a disposable society, and I feel like that's something that should change, not only in fashion but just generally as a way of living. And by the way, to everyone who's watching, if you have any questions to me or to FRAMIORE about slow fashion, leave them below. And I want to ask you now, how, well, we're in a global pandemic at the moment. How does this affect you, and how does it affect your made to order like business model?
Yeah. Uh, well, 2 months ago, I think, when the whole thing started in Europe, and while mobility was still allowed, we decided that probably the production would be closed during the quarantine. And we made the items before somebody orders them. So we made a kind of stock from the fabric that we already had in our atelier, to make it just easier. If there is a request for an item, we could actually send it to someone, not endangering people from our team to make it.
Yeah, that's
But
super important.
I think that after the lockdown, we're gonna go back to our previous model, because it just feels right to us not to have more than people actually request.
Yes.
About the request, before this live, we had the questionnaire on our page, and someone said that right now it's hard to understand which brand is really sustainable and what is not. So a question back to you:
Yes.
how can you even understand, is this a really sustainable item? Is this a really sustainable brand? How you even pick the new brands that you want to buy from?
Basically, you're asking how to avoid greenwashing.
How do you do it?
Well, first of all, when I look at any brand in the world, the first thing that I'm looking for is information. And the first, this is the first thing that I do, even before looking at the actual collections or the designs. I first of all look at what information the brand wants to or provides to me. And usually when brands are actually providing facts and informations that is not blurry and not like, our products consist some recycled plastic, or we aim to produce in this and that way. I want facts. I want to see what they're doing now, how they're acting. And usually if there is an ethics and sustainability section on their website, I will directly go to there to see what they provide me with, to see who made my clothes, to see information about the factory, who made my clothes, how, where in the world. Not just like I saw some brands, for example, fast fashion brands made in Asia. Like, where in Asia? What city? What like I want to know exactly where my clothes are produced, how is the labor, is the factory safe, down to the supply chain. I want to know. I want the brands to make the information easily reachable to me. And if I don't find it, and I think the brand might actually be ethical and sustainable, that this is how, after I'm checking the materials that they are using and how they're using them, yeah. I'm contacting the brand if I have any questions, and I'm asking them a list of questions. So from a blogger point of view and also from a consumer point of view, I don't say everyone should do this, because not everyone has the time or knowledge to do this. But I'm sending, for example, brands like 9 pages of questions about their whole supply chain, their whole process, from the seed to the afterlife of the product. But this is not something like this. This is what I do for work. So obviously I take the time to actually do that. But as an actual like customer, I would just ask questions that I care about, and about the labor, about the materials, and about and see how the brand like is going forward, because I find that most slow fashion brands have their goals. They are not just staying where they are. They always try to improve and improve and improve. So how to avoid these lies? First of all, blurry answers, and all the 52 collections a year brands are probably out of the out of the being an option. Even they're not in the equation at all. But smaller brands, I would look at their supply chain information and production and end of life of the product. What do we all need to do with all the clothes we already have from the past? And saddening fact, actually, that I wanted to share is that according to Architects, I was in one of their panels here in Tel Aviv, and the woman from Architects said that a third of the fast fashion garments are already thrown away to landfills before they hit the shelves of the stores. So third of their production is already going to landfills and either sold in third world countries or most of the times burned, and creating huge pollution and waste. And it just shows how bad of a business model it is. So to the question of what we need to do with the clothes we already have from the past. First of all, I would say, stop burning them. Stop throwing them away to landfills, and actually try to A, use them as they are, B, take care of and mend them, and C, if you cannot sell them as they are, try to upcycle them and redesign them in many different ways. There are so many amazing designers out there that are creating amazing collections from upcycled garments, fabrics, materials, etc. Do you guys?
This is the question about the clothes that I already have as a customer. The answer would be like, you can upcycle it or donate it to somebody,
or sell it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, especially now, so many people saw how much stuff they have and they took them out of their wardrobe and they just put them in front of charity shops, and there are huge piles that will eventually go to waste because the stores are not capable of holding all these things. So I would say reselling is another option too, but avoid as much as you can not like getting rid of things without finding it a new purpose, because in a way it's our responsibility to make sure what we bought in the past finds its new home and not ends up in landfill. We cannot ensure it 100% of the times, but as long as we try.
Also, we can check the social initiatives in our local areas, which collect this worn clothes and give them to people who actually need them.
Absolutely, yes. There are so many people who need the clothes, and this is the best thing that you will do.
And what about swapping? Do you see the future?
Yes, absolutely, 100% yes. I feel like swapping will be the new shopping experience in the future. People will just come to. I have a very good friend called Patrick Duffy. He's the founder of Global Fashion Exchange, and he developed the swap chain, which is super cool. It allows you to swap. First of all, Global Fashion Exchange allows you to swap from wherever you are and host swap parties with a toolkit that teaches you how to do it in the right way. And the swap chain is connecting swap events with blockchain technology that allows you to see who owned the product or the garment before you did. So the whole story of the product. So I definitely see it coming in the future. We have four more minutes to be exact.
Oh.
And so yeah, any last words about FRAMIORE, what you're up to? How can we follow you? Because this was first out of many talks that you're doing.
Yeah, this was the first TimeOut event that we did. You can follow us on Instagram or Facebook for more updates, because tomorrow we're gonna have a talk from the mentor of creative programs about the future of fashion after the pandemic. And on Monday, we're gonna have even more exciting talk about biomimicry, about how nature inspires innovations in fashion for sustainability.
Wow, is it by?
It's gonna be by Dr. Savitri Bartlett.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be great. I just feel it.
I'm gonna be there for sure.
Yeah.
This is super exciting. So to wrap it up, what are the things that you would tip to other brands or consumers, or also consumers, to slow fashion down?
First of all, the message to other brands is, do not be afraid to experiment or to slow down. Yes, it will decrease your profits and will make your production a bit more complicated, but it will pay you back in just a small amount of time. It will pay you back with the customers, with the community around your idea, with appreciation of your work. So it's worth it, definitely worth it, to slow down and to communicate about it more and more.
Yeah, I feel like a good summarize to this whole conversation is the 3 famous R's. Reduce, first of all, just reduce the amount of products that you buy, amount of fashion, of beauty products, of everything that you don't need. And only buy when you need to, or when you feel like a product will serve you over time. Because when we think about fashion, and me as a fashion blogger, I do have more than I need, but the things that I have, I'm so far from being a minimalistic, but the things that I have, I actually wear. And if I do not wear, I find it another home. And reduce and reuse. If you can find products that have rolls in them or anything like that, and you feel like you will keep wearing them, mend them, stitch them, give them a new life, upcycle them, and recycle when you cannot do anything else from it. Then try to recycle the product if it's possible.
Yeah, it's a good note to put a stop here.
Yes, and thank you so much to Lisa from FRAMIORE for this amazing little online panel. You can find FRAMIORE at FRAMIORE and give them all the love that they deserve. And yeah, catch up with FRAMIORE from tomorrow on for more conversations like this one. Thank you for everyone who joined us. We hope you enjoyed this conversation, and we will see you next time. And thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.